So now here's a super interesting story. So, I'm sure you guys, if you guys have been keeping up with news, you guys know that there was a Pennsylvania special election that happened, and Connor Lamb defeated his Republican opponent. I believe his name is Rick Saccone. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but he won. And now we're going to. I read this really interesting article that talked about how there might be a new strategy that is going to be used by Democrats to win these districts, to win seats in these districts, because this is Pennsylvania, the Rust Belt. This is one of those districts that was, they're calling Trump country, and, Trump got my understanding was he had a pretty big lead there. Now, here's something that's super interesting. So now this article from Politico says this. They say, Connor Lamb weathered $10 million in attack ads, cartoonishly calling the Democratic candidate in Pennsylvania's special election a member of Nancy Pelosi's liberal flock. Now what they're saying is, basically, there were attack ads done against him, $10 million spent on attack ads done against him, calling Connor Lamb basically part of, Nancy Pelosi's liberal flock, right? Now, here's what it also says. It says, now other Democratic hopefuls are looking to adopt Lamb's strategy. He repeatedly and bluntly disavowed the Democratic leader in their own competitive races. It raises the prospect of a slate of Democratic hopefuls running against the party's House leader as they try to neutralize one of the GOP's go-to attacks, a pillar of Republicans' plans to keep the House majority in November. So, they also go on to say this. They say, a half dozen Democratic House members and candidates told Politico in interviews that they had been closely monitoring how Lamb handled the Pelosi attack. In one notable ad, the 33-year-old Marine faced the camera and called the claim that he's a clone of the Democratic leader, quote, a big lie. I've already said on the front page of the newspaper that I don't support Nancy Pelosi. Now, this is how you're going to win these elections in your districts. Basically, he's been, just completely barraged and attacked with just this, monsoon of attacks saying, he's just a, Nancy Pelosi clone. He's just one of those liberals, libtards or whatever. That's kind of that's what they've been saying in attacks against him. And he says, no, I don't support Nancy Pelosi. So, essentially what you're getting here is this kind of attack against neoliberalism that's going to help you actually win these districts. Because once you get that away, and it really comes down to the policy positions, and again, recall that this is the Rust Belt, so we're talking about the factory jobs that have been shipped overseas. Massive amounts of jobs being lost. And wow, look what seemed to happen. Connor Lamb disavows Nancy Pelosi, who's, again, a corporate neoliberal, and he wins the election in his district. Gee, I wonder what happened. So this is definitely a blueprint that should be, I don't know if it will be, but it should be used. It should be used for other district races because clearly it works.